No, I don't want it. People are gonna be mad. Fine. Okay, look, this is obviously a very contentious issue. If you've existed on social media for more than a few seconds, you've probably seen somebody post about this. So before we even get to the question, I want to make a couple things very clear. This is an opinion. I'm not telling you what you can or can't do. I'm taking a well-researched stance. You're welcome to do whatever you want with this information. And second, I'm not saying this is a sin issue. I'm not here to accuse anyone of anything. Yes, there are some people acting in a sinful manner regarding this issue, but I am not saying the issue itself is a matter of sin. Okay, I got those things out of the way. Now, to the question itself. Should Christians be wearing face masks during the pandemic? If you're coming across this video at a much later date, no, it is not about Halloween masks. Right now in 2020, there are areas that are requiring the use of face masks and other areas that are strongly suggesting the use of face masks with the goal of reducing the transmission of COVID-19. And on top of this, there are a lot of businesses that are requiring face masks for the customers who shop there. I can't speak for other people, but I'm definitely not going to say that face masks are cozy and that I love wearing them. I'll be honest, they're stifling. They hurt my ears or they squeeze my head, and it's just another thing that I got to keep track of. I genuinely find them uncomfortable, and plenty of other people do too. So for those reasons and a lot of other ones, a debate has risen on the requirement of masks, and some people refuse to wear them. But what about Christians? How should we be viewing the mask requirements and suggestions? Truth be told, God has always been aware of public health issues. Even in ancient times, God was directing believers to take contagion and illness very seriously. Leviticus 13 shows God commanding quarantine for the contagious. Chapters 14 and 15 show in-depth washing for people and their homes. And in a very relevant reference, Leviticus 13:45 says that contagious people must wear a mouth covering. Now, to be totally candid, all of these laws refer specifically to leprosy, or they just use the word disease in general. Obviously, they don't mention the word coronavirus. And I know that last week I just did a video saying that Christians aren't under Old Testament law, but I also say in that video that there's a lot we can learn from the purpose of those laws. And in this case, we can see that when it came to a very contagious illness, God wanted us to be careful, clean, and even wear a mouth covering. But in all fairness, these are cases when there is definite illness and when somebody is definitely infected. The vast majority of the world is not infected, and some would even say that COVID's being made to look more severe than it really is. So what if you're not sick and you don't think COVID is a major threat? For this, I'll refer to a couple of different things. First, Romans 13 tells Christians that we should submit to governing authorities. There are a lot of areas that have government mandates on mask wearing. Businesses also have the legal right to refuse service to any customer as long as it doesn't discriminate against a certain people group. I think at this point it seems kind of clear. Scripture says to submit to authorities, authorities say to wear a mask, and that businesses can refuse you if you don't wear a mask. Do I need to say more? But even if it isn't a government mandate, we can still use this section of scripture to help. Just before this, in Romans 12, Paul writes that Christians should give thought to what is honorable in the sight of all. And later in Romans 13, Paul says that we should love our neighbor because love is fulfilling the law. But I think the most poignant section of scripture for this isn't in Romans, but actually in 1 Corinthians 10. Paul is specifically writing about a Christian's choice when something's not a sin issue. He quotes the phrase, all things are lawful, because some people were saying that as long as it's lawful, then it's fine to do no matter what. Paul says, all things are lawful, but not all things are helpful. All things are lawful, but not all things build up. Let no one seek his own good, but the good of his neighbor. Look, I know that masks are uncomfortable and inconvenient, but that's nothing compared to seeking the good of our neighbor over the good of ourselves. Refusing to wear a mask may not be a sin issue, but by refusing to wear a mask, are we glorifying God or serving ourselves? Like I said at the beginning, I am not telling anyone what they have to do or calling anyone a sinner. But as a believer that wants to reflect the loving humility of Christ and to seek the good of my neighbor over myself, I know what I'm going to do.